Nataka niwasalimie wote kwa salamu za Pasaka. Lakini yangu ile iko kwa kitambulisho ni Samuel Mathenge wa Derito.
Okay.
No, mine is serving, changing people's lives. But if there is a place I made a difference, is in education. Okay. We started about 9 new secondary schools. Wow. I wish we have had the 18 million. Gilgil would be many miles.
Yeah.
Tungekuwa tumeenda mbali
sana. Yeah.
You can't tell somebody to stay without food today so that you get the meat tomorrow.
Yes.
Ninasimama kiti cha ubunge wa Gilgil constituency. Ninaamini natakiwa tusaidiane kama watu wa Gilgil. Kwa hivyo kwa mara nyingine tena nawaomba mnipe kura. Asante sana BMC kwa kunipa nafasi hii.
Hello guys, welcome to BMC channel. It's your host Gracie Rabi. Na leo tuko ni Chapeables. Iko on your way ukienda Lake Elementaita with a very special guest, an amazing person, a very humble person. Najua mmetamani sana kusikia kumhusu. Mko na maswali mengi mumenituma nimuulize, na I promise you sitawaangusha. But before nikaribishe mgeni wangu, don't forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, comment and share. Habari mheshimiwa?
Sijambo.
Karibu sana BMC.
Asante.
Chill at home. Huku tunapenda wageni.
Asante.
Muona mgeni wangu, wacha tupate kumjua. Najua mmetaka sana kumuona. Mheshimiwa, umepotea sana.
Niko. Kila wakati napitia huku na huku. Mimi tangu nilienda break ya bunge. Sijawahi toka Gilgil.
Okay.
Kwa sababu Gilgil ndio nyumbani. Na I don't have anywhere else.
Okay, sasa salimia watu wa BMC alafu jintroduce.
Asante sana BMC kwa kunipa nafasi hii. Nataka niwasalimie wote kwa salamu za Pasaka. Nina imani mmekuwa na Pasaka njema. Na pia hapo nisalimie watu wa Gilgil wote popote ambapo wako. Gilgil mnajua ni kubwa sana. Inatoka Sidhunoi mpaka Songoloi, kutoka Miti Mingi mpaka Karati. It's a very expansive constituency. Lakini ningetaka kuwatumia wote salamu zangu za Pasaka na niwaambie na wapenda. Tumeonana na wengine wale hatujaonana na wamiss, na tutaonana hivi karibuni.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sasa hujatuambia jina?
Kwa majina naitwa Mheshimiwa Mathenge wa Derito. Niko na jina la ubatizo Samuel. Lakini sana kwa ballot mtaona Derito Samuel Mathenge. Kuna wale pia wananijua kama Mandi. Mandi ni jina langu la biashara hapa Gilgil tangu zamani. Kuna wengine mtasikia wakiniita generali. All of them are tag names na zote zinani describe. Lakini yangu ile iko kwa kitambulisho ni Samuel Mathenge wa Derito.
Okay. Kwa hizo 5 years zenye hatuja kuona umekuwa ukifanya nini? Kwanza unajua kabla sijakuja kwa siasa mimi ni mtu ya Gilgil. Yeah.
Kwa mfano mimi nimesoma primary hizi shule za hapa Morindat, Gitare, Kahuho na Karunga primary schools. Kisha nikasoma Kwelel high school from 1 to form 4. Alafu nikaenda Thika high school for my A levels. Alafu baada ya hapo nilijiunga na chuo cha maji. Alafu nikajiunga na chuo cha Mombasa Polytechnic ambapo nilianzia kwa kusomea diploma ya ujenzi na mambo yanayohusu mijengo. Na pia nikaenda nikaongeza kwa hiyo laini tu ya ujenzi na building economics kama higher diploma katika chuo cha Kenya Polytechnic. Pia mwisho nilirudi huko baadaye nikafanya degree yangu ya construction project management.
Okay.
Of course hii masomo mengine nimesoma ni ya kulingana na kazi zingine. Tukija kwa hii miaka 5 mimi nimekuwa Gilgil kama hivyo nimekuambia. Biashara zangu Gilgil ikiungua naungua na kila kitu. Kwa hivyo nimerudi niko na biashara ambazo mimi hufanya. Kama kila mwingine yeyote tumepata ugumu sana huo mwaka wa COVID ile miaka ya COVID. Lakini tukajikakamua. Nina furaha hakuna wafanyakazi wangu nilisimamisha wakaenda nyumbani. Hata kama mapato ilikuwa ya chini sana, lakini nashukuru Mungu. Lakini hapo niliweza kupewa kazi na serikali kuu as a director katika shirika. Wakati huo lilikuwa Rift Valley Water. Baadaye likakatwa ikawa Central Rift Valley Waterworks Development Agency. Na sana nafikiri baadaye nitaelezea yale miradi ambayo tumefanya. Lakini nimeweza kusimamia. Lakini kile ningetaka kusema kama director na si executive ni kazi na sitaki kuifedhehesha. Ni kazi ile unalipwa ukiketi. Unaketi labda mara moja kwa miezi 3. Kuna wale nasikia wakisema Mheshi aliajiriwa aache kusema hana pesa. Sasa kama utaketi mara moja upewe 50,000 kwa miezi 3.
Stress.
Kwa hiyo hayo hizo ni project tu. Lakini nashukuru serikali kwa sababu kuna ule uongozi ambao madirectors hupea shirika kama hilo. Na kuna mengi ambayo tumeweza kupata na kufanya. Na hata Gilgil hata kama nilikuwa nawakilisha county ya Nakuru, hata Gilgil najua ninaweza taja zile benefits ambazo tumepata. Yes, so that's my back. Hiyo ndio historia. And I hope I can mix the languages.
Yeah, you can mix. Feel free, unaweza mix.
So that's the bit of background what we've been doing myself. And of course we've been in a lot of things with Gilgil people. Wherever I know, whenever somebody has called me for whatever types of functions, be it within Gilgil town and without. Because from 2012 when I started campaigning for a seat, I've made so many friends across Gilgil. So today I'll get an invitation from Pipeline, and the next one I'll get is Kasarani and anywhere.
Na unajiavail.
I've been trying to, but people, some of them feel like sababu mheshimiwa hakuchaguliwa, nikimuita labda ataniona kama lakini it has never been like that. And those who have invited me nimeenda. Kile singefanya kwa sababu kuna yule ako kwa kazi. Singeanza kuzunguka huku na huku sababu singetaka mtu aseme huyu tulimshinda ndiye amekuja kututatiza. Sasa baada ya miaka hiyo 4.5 sasa tunaweza enda tuone ni nini wananchi wamefanyiwa. Ni nini tulifanya. There is something to compare about, but for 4.5 years I haven't interfered with anybody. Even now you can only tell people what you did, but you don't interfere with what they are doing.
Other people did.
Yes.
So ni nini ilikuinspire ukajoin politics?
That one is an interesting one. First of all, for like 15 years I was working with some NGOs in the ministry, in the sector of education. First of all, it was developing school infrastructure, mostly in my Murindat area, because I got people, volunteers who came to work in our area. And they started by consulting to help the schools they were volunteering in building a class. And it went on to be building whole schools.
Okay.
And so as far back as 2007, there was clamor that we need, actually not 2007, even 202. You remember, I'm not sure whether you can remember or whether you are there, but we remember the late NEYMOH,
Yeah.
who contested and wanted to be Gilgil MP.
Yes.
Because we always felt that we were playing second fiddle to Naivasha.
To Naivasha, yes.
And we felt we'll only be ourselves if we can get one of our own.
Yes.
And unfortunately, they would always beat us by their numbers. So there was clamor in 2007 that there would be additional constituencies and that Gilgil will get one. So people started telling me, you are the one we are going to pick. And as you heard, like from late 90s, I was involved in the education sector, which you know is very involves so many people.
Yes.
We started a scholarship. I personally was the first donor to that scholarship called Langalanga Scholarship Fund. So we had worked with the community for, I think, given the Gilgil people, I was the one who had worked with the community for the longest.
Okay.
And I think it was almost automatic that people, my people kept popping up. For them, I thought they were out of their minds. My shop or my office used to be behind the county offices in Gilgil town.
Okay.
And I remember even people like Kibake would come, the crossroad used to be Ajip, which is currently National Oil.
Yes.
And that's where politicians would come and stop, including Kibake. Maybe the most I would do is just get out of my shop, just look at what's happening and go back and continue with my business. I had almost zero interest in politics. So I think when people started asking me in 2007, I told them, no, mine is serving, changing people's lives, seeing people, we take them from the situation they are, like in my village, transition to Form 1 was near like 30%. And we had succeeded by building SEJOH Secondary School. We had succeeded in raising the same to like 60%. So that's what my pride was, not politics. So there was that clamor in 2007, and I told them, fine, if you think I can be an MP, I can't be an MP for Naivasha. If Gilgil is to get a constituency, for sure I knew it would not, because we were almost a month to the general election. But when 2012 came, I think I had no escape. I just had to take it up, and here I am.
Na ukakuwa MP.
Nikakuwa MP, nikakuwa mwanasiasa. Even me, I don't believe I'm a politician. The drive is not really politics.
Okay.
And that's why in the short term, I stayed for 4 years with very few resources. I even forgot myself that it was service to the people. You know, when I was working in the NGO world, in the charity world, you know, I would depend paying my salary until we have completed a project and even probably made a saving for another project.
Wow.
So my drive is not so much power, politics, it's something else. And I think on top of, okay, people would even say Mathenge only cares about education. Of course, we did other projects, but for politics, people would label you for everything. But if there is a place I made a difference, is in education.
Okay.
We started about 9 new secondary schools.
Wow.
We propped like 2 which were almost getting getting close. We started 9 primary schools, new ones. And for example, during that term of 4 years, you know, it's the time that the government decided it was to be 100% transition.
Yes.
You can imagine if we had not started and built those secondary schools, what would have happened? Where would our children have gone? We are talking of a school like Ndogo, which we started and built fully, the 4 classes, from 1 to 4. Schools like Morop, which we started from scratch and built all the 4 classes. Schools like Mudaiti, schools like Ngeteti, schools like Kiungururia, Eshareria. An example of those ones that were near or facing extinction was Tugunui Secondary School. We propped it, built classrooms, and we made sure that we even got some government infrastructure to do a laboratory just before we left. So, yeah, out of everything else in education, we did bursaries, we sponsored students to the very reputable institutions like Komboni Polytechnics for their courses, and they were going for 2 years. We did like 70, and all those, I can tell you 98, if not 100%, all of them they are doing their jobs very well because they got excellent training. And you know, so you either get them in self-employment, in kibaruas, in total employment. They are out there, mechanics, carpenters, electricians. You know, you get them through a training of 2 years, and that guy who lives there lives baked. The other things that we coordinated, but you asked me one majoring. Of course, everybody.
The one that you are proud of.
Yeah, and you know, education cuts across the board.
Yes.
That's the only place that brings ile inatoshanisha mtoto wa tajiri na maskini. Mimi nilikuwa mtoto, I would describe even those who call themselves hustlers, they have to live our life to know what hustling actually was. Though I don't believe in hustlers, I don't. When I read all the definitions of a hustler, I wouldn't want my small daughter Jambi to define herself as
a hustler.
Because the English definitions
it's not that good.
They're not very good. So maybe we can get another word for hustler. Maybe we use it, but in our context, maybe we don't mean what is the actual meaning in the dictionary.
Okay, thank you for that. Speaking of schools, umetaja nyingi sana. Like Kikope, we have one primary inaitwa Murendo. Murendo tuko na watoto wengi sana, more than 2,000 I guess. Na wengi wanatoka ile side nyingine ya barabara, they have to cross every morning na jioni wakienda home. Maybe ukakuwa MP tena, what will you do for us?
You know, Murendo, I came there even before I became an MP. And I was live to the problem of especially in 2007, we had a lot of influx of people from the IDPs. They came and settled in Kikope. In estates like Gilgil teachers, they came and bought property, and suddenly there was an explosion of the population. What happened is when we came, in the 4 years, and with just about half of what my successor has gotten in 5 years, I was able to do 5 classrooms and also do a toilet block. And we also connected it to electricity long before even the school program came about. I remember the late Mwalimu Chege. With a group of others, they had approached me and told me they have land across the road. Somewhere around the Masai area. I'm not sure exactly where, but they told me there is public land there. And we had agreed if I was to come back into 2017, that would definitely be our first project. So if the land is still there, and I get an opportunity in 2022, and I believe it's coming, then that is the first thing, unless people of Kikope tell me otherwise, because I have to listen to the people, but that is where I had left it.
I guess the land nile yenye kwa Kanyawa and it is still there.
Then that's a done deal. Depending on if the people say we want a school, then a school they will have. Yes.
About health, tunashukuru sana you started ile Kikope dispensary. But there's people kutoka Dhugunoi huko Eshariri. Wanasema ndio wapate way ya kukuja hospitali, kwa ni very far, lazima wakuja either Mathare ama waende St. Mary's, St. Joseph. So they were asking for your, unaweza waambia aje, mtawasaidia aje in case upate that seat?
Yeah, thank you. We know we did Kikope, and we even did the staff quarters. And even now in my latest appointment that I resigned as director, Central Rift Valley Waterworks Development Agency, we've done a borehole. And fortunately, the water needs some costly treatment for it to be used by humans.
Yes.
But they can use it for washing their clothes.
Yeah.
All other uses. So at least I'm happy. I know even people of Kikope refer to it as a dispensary.
Mathenge, yeah.
Kasambara, I mean Sugunoi and Kasambara people, there is the Rain Hospital. There is the Rain Hospital where they donated land and a certain benefactor was to build them a hospital. He did so, but unfortunately the person who volunteered to take care of it in the absence of the sponsor decided to convert the hospital into a private property. It's a long story, and I know the people of Kasambara have been looking for the current MP to push a motion in Parliament where they can be able to get back their hospital, because it's like been taken away.
Yes.
And even the day that there was a day the person, I can't remember her name, when they wanted to cut away the equipments from the hospital, the people of Kasambala called me. I went there, and I was one of those who contributed the money for buying a padlock, another one, so that we lock on top of the other one, and paying some watchmen so that the whatever is in there is not cutted away.
Okay.
And what I would wish to promise the people of Sugunoi and Kasambara is that will be my first priority. During my term, even if there were some squabbles that had not come out so openly, at least it was working. So as much as we were hearing there is push and pull about the ownership of the land and what have you, a fact is the land was donated by the community and part of it by the Catholic Church. So how it came that the hospital is not even going to be theirs, I was shocked. So it has happened mostly now when I have been out. But even when I heard that there was some people who wanted to carry away the equipment from the hospital, I went there in person and assisted them. So that's another top on the agenda.
Yes. Because
I have a good history. Top, where we built the CDF office, it was a grabbed, it used to be a government property, and it had been grabbed, and there were beacons on that plot. And I was able to reclaim and build the office. Begi Primary School, it had 94 title deeds. Even today I have a case in court. We reclaimed and we have a school there. Gomongo Primary School, it was grabbed by some families and it had been built, but today there is a school and those people had to leave and even pull down their houses. Teachers Primary School, the teachers' housing wanted to sell it to a private developer. I intervened and now we have a public primary school there. So if you want somebody who can really get back public property, then you need not go further than
you're the right person.
Yeah. I have that history and I can promise the people of Kasambara, Sugunoi, it doesn't matter. As long as we have a history of that land,
okay,
we'll definitely get it back and the dispensary will be up and running.
Okay. Juzi nilitembea Mathare hospital kwa wards, unapata maybe sijui nani umaintain ama nani anafaa kuangalia, unapata kwa wards hakuna blanketi, wanapewa either one bed sheet na mwenye amebahatika sana anapewa 2 bed sheets. It's very cold, kuna mahali hata hakuna vioo. Kwa nini kuna happen hivyo?
First of all, I would want to say that health is a function of the county government. And we have heard from our local MCA talk about a new maternity being built.
Yes.
And we are grateful about that. But you can't tell somebody to stay without food today so that you get the meat tomorrow.
Yes.
So I think they have a huge task, just as people sometimes complain there are no drugs.
Yeah, they are.
That one is a really precarious situation, and we would wish the county government, because that is, it's not about building something.
Yes.
Because that one, it's difficult. An MP it's very difficult for an MP to intervene in such.
Okay.
Especially such recurrent things. Maybe we can come up with a development like we did the morgue.
Yeah.
We did the rehabilitation of the morgue when I was the MP. You see, that's a capital development, but for recurrent, because you can only do a one-off, and probably we may not go to donate to a hospital that is wholly run by the county government.
Okay.
I'm sure wherever they are, they will hear, and I'm sure it's it is for Gilgil people, it's not for an individual. And I hope they will do the necessary, because like the weather we are getting into, patients may get sicker, if that's the right English word, when they are in hospital,
yes,
than getting better.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you so much. We are going for a break. Mheshimiwa akunywe kandufia. We will be back.
Karibu sana ni Chapebos.
Asante.
Mi naitwa Ruth.
Thank you.
Na naweza nikakwambia tuko na swimming facilities.
Okay.
Tuko na gym facilities. Tuko na spa. We have accommodation. Now we have 3 types of accommodation.
Okay.
There's a deluxe accommodation. There are standard rooms and there are family rooms. So if you come with your family, unaweza
uko highly sorted.
Utakuwa sorted ukiwa na family, na wale pia wako na watoto wadogo, hizo deluxe rooms zina provide an extra bed for the children.
Okay.
And then the standard rooms are just for honeymooners or just a couple.
Okay.
And then we also have another room which is called executive. Other than that, we also have food, and we offer packages for buffet, or we have African cuisine, na pamoja pia na international cuisine.
Okay.
So tunafanya a la carte na tunafanya buffet. Pia tuko na bar, na tuko na entertainment over the weekends. Wow. Where we have a DJ provided for special events. We also have team building activities.
Okay.
Like if you come with 50 people or 20 people, we can offer
Wow.
such things.
So guys, mmesikia ukikama hapa kuna like kuna everything. Wase wa gym, if you like keeping fit, ukikuja huku uko highly sorted. You and your family, if you want somewhere nature hivi, come to Nature Pebbles.
Welcome back BMC family. We are still here with Mheshimiwa Mathenge na kuna swali nimeulizwa. Kama uko na mtu hujamtaja mahali.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I forgot it in my introduction. As I said, I have a wife and 3 children. All of them grown up.
Okay.
And the children, as many of Gilgil people may know, are from my first family. Leah left us in 2018. May her soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
And in 2020, I got married to Reverend Janet Mbua Mathenge. Of course, I'm grand. My mother is still there.
Okay.
On Saturday, I had lunch at her place. She can still cook. I thank God for her. Our father left us last year. Yes, last year.
Can we hear rest in
So
peace?
and we are a big family, like those of those years.
Okay.
We were only 2 short of a football team.
Okay, so speaking of that family, are they supporting you?
All of them.
Okay, they are very supportive.
Very supportive. We've grown as a unit, and in all our wherever they are, some live far, some live near, but all of them they all support me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the greatest strength I have had.
Okay.
During my
Thank you
career
so
in
much.
politics.
Okay. Sasa kuna hizi mulika mwizi. We would like to know who maintains ama nani huwa ana repair in case one zimedamajiwa. We have 2. Kikope guess kuna moja na town zenye mimi I know na maybe kuna zingine zenye haziwaki na ni for so long, more than 2 years. Yeah.
First of all, there is Murikamwizi and the street writing.
Yes.
What I can say is Murikamwizis are a property of the county government. So they are the ones who install them and maintain them. For us in CDF, we don't have a recurrent for that. I know I had started a program of installing solar Murikamwizis hizo. We did one in Kongasis, which has had problems, and we have attempted to repair it, but we didn't quite make it. There was some behind the scenes sabotage, if I may call them, because they fad-laced when they couldn't get help from elsewhere. As for the street writings, it's a county government, national government. The national government does the infrastructure. I got some kilometers, and by the way, Gilgil was we were the 36th sub-county to get the first towns to get the street writing, and they were meant for Gilgil town only. But I intervened and said no. In Gilgil, like we were, the syndicate line, which goes to my place, was supposed to do a kilometer. And even it was supposed to go all the way to Seked. Maybe those people now in Migingo will say I should change them. But I decided instead of getting all the kilometers in Gilgil town, we shared with Kikope. And that's how Kikope got the first street writing. So I'm sure very few people have any idea of how that came about. Kikope was not in the program, it was Gilgil town, but we said Kikope is a peri-urban of Gilgil.
Yes.
So it's the street right, the Murikamwizis, hizo ni kazi ya county government.
Okay.
Yes.
Sasa nataka uangalie ile kamera, uambie unataka kiti gani na kwa nini you are the right person for that seat, and maybe you introduce chama yako.
Yes. As I told you when we started, I didn't come to Gilgil when it was politics. The history was like 15-20 years, long before I ever dreamt of becoming a politician. And even the 5 years, the 4, actually 4.
Okay.
Even the 4 years that I was in office, as I told you, mine was to change the lives of Gilgil people, kubadilisha maisha ya watu, because hiyo ndio nilikuwa nimefanya. Kwa sababu hata wakati ule tulikuwa mpaka na sports, tulikuwa na tournament tulikuwa tunaita Park 3000, where one of the wazungus who are our benefactors came, and in between our talking, I heard I could squeeze something out of him in the line of sports. And we ran that, and Kikope teams used to participate for 10 years. So when I came into politics, and people have variously said, wewe unatakiwa kuwa bishop, and I tell them, fine, when I'm done in politics, maybe if I still have some energy, I could end up there.
Yeah.
But I found myself, you know, when you are dealing with those who are helping, they have some conditions.
Yes.
For example, when I tell them we could still include some children in elementaita, they will say, no, I think we just want where we can reach. And a good example is we were able to get Sugunoi, a Sugunoi student. But when the sponsors came, the road was so bad that the VC who used to be our yule alikuwa anatuongoza hiyo, alisema hatutawahi chukua mwanafunzi mwingine hapa kwa sababu barabara ni mbaya sana. Amekuwa embarrassed kupeleka wageni wake wapi.
Okay.
You see, now I had limitations, and even part of coming to politics was so that I could reach out everywhere. And even when I came into office, tulikuwa tumefanya kazi sana upande wa Moridat ward, lakini Gitare for some reason haikuwa imebenefit sana. And then we had done part of Baruk, the Baruk zone in terms of the education setup. But we couldn't do for, okay, we went as far as Jaika, Ndogo, but we couldn't help even the neighboring school, even the one that had more problem than the one we had already assisted. So I felt if I could be somewhere where I can now help, mahali naweza fikia yule ninataka bila kuwekewa vikwazo. Sasa katika siasa nilikuwa na hiyo bahati. Mimi tunakaa na kamati yangu na tunasema hapa ndio shida iko sana, hapa ndio shida iko sana, na tunaweza kusaidia. Na ndio tuliweza, wakati tuliingia kuna mahali tulikuta kuna shida nyingi sana, more than our mahali nilikuwa nimetoka. Mpaka mwisho I almost lost votes in my home ward. Although Gitare we had an affirmative in Moridat ward, sababu Gitare, when we were doing a lot of development, Gitare hatukuipata. So kutaka kuingia katika siasa ilikuwa so that we can help those that we couldn't help with the little we were getting in terms of sponsorship. Na kutoka hapo wakati niliingia, nafikiri nimekuelezea, mimi niliingia na roho. Si nimekuambia when I was in the charity world, hata mshahara yangu ilikuwa inakuja second. So hata wakati nilianza kufanya hiyo kazi, it was almost the same. And tulifanya kazi mpaka wakati wale walikuwa wanapingana na mimi 2017. In fact, it was an agreed opinion that if you want to hit Mathenge, don't go the line of development. Mathenge hakuhitaji kwenda Inoro ndio ajitangaze ile miradi amefanya, ni watu wenyewe walikuwa wanasema. And for your information, Mathenge got about half of what my successor have gotten. nilipata around 372 million in the 4 years I was in office versus 618 million ile huyu my successor amepata. There are national projects that are undertaken by government, coordinated by the MP or his or her office. For example, unaona kama barabara hizi za lami hizi kubwa, they are done by the national government. For example, there is a lot of talk about the Langalanga Machinery Road. We know the history about it, and it's a national government project. It was on the table even before I left office. It's only that there was something the government had not done, because it's sponsored by the Kuwait government, the government had not done. Otherwise, even if you check or Google, you'll find it's an addendum. An addendum is what is signed if a contract has delayed in starting. So maybe you are supposed to start within 3 months or 6 months, they have elapsed, you haven't done, and it's not your fault as a contractor. That's where an addendum is signed to postpone or to give an extension of the starting. That was the case with Langalanga, I mean the Langalanga Machinery Road. So we left it, the contractor had already been identified, but it had been done. Those are projects done by the national government. When I was in office, we coordinated taking electricity in every school. So we were the ones who were giving the reports. It is true, and I have never put it as part of the work I did. What am I driving at? Mtu hupimwa uwezo wake na ile taranda umepewa.
Ni kweli.
Na ile taranda mbunge anapewa namba moja ni CDF. Hiyo ndio ile pesa unapewa mwenyewe, because that's where you sit with your committee.
Yes.
And you organize. That's where you decide whether this is going to be a labor intensive project or a contractor based project. So that is the money you are given, and you cannot showcase because of maybe a borehole that has been done by a sponsor. You can't showcase by probably the electricity which is funded by the national government.
Yes.
It is true you coordinate as the sitting MP, but there is no, hakuna hata penny moja ya MP inaingia hapo, na hiyo ni kitu tunataka ijulikane sana. Tunajua kuna projects zimefanya, kama for example the drainage. That one even the deputy president promised us in 2016 when he came to Gilgil Stadium. What has happened, I could go deeper, but in short, mimi with my 372 million, kama vile nimesema, mtu hupimwa na taranda ile umepewa. Ndio kwa mfano, nimepata mfadhili akanifanyia borehole. Sijatoa hata ndururu. Unajua ndio niwe so proud of that. Kama amenichibia borehole, na mimi nitaweka milioni yangu, badala watu waje wapange laini hapo na mitungi ya maji na punda, naweka mifereji na wafikia. Hiyo sasa hata mimi nimeweka taranda katika hiyo ambayo nimepata. Sababu kupata mfadhili ya kufanyia borehole ni vizuri. Sababu tunataka watu wetu wafaidike. Swali lile ningetaka watu wa Gilgil wajiulize. Kama ni ambavyo nimesema. Mimi nilipewa miaka 4 milioni 370. Na kuna watu wanasema ati ninasema uongo, lakini hawasemi hapana ulipewa milioni 500. Ama nikisema wao walipewa milioni 618, hawasemi hapana tulipewa 570. But they keep saying is lies. Ni uongo. Lakini siwezi sema uongo. Kile ningetaka wananchi wa Gilgil waangalie kabla sijaenda tunaelekea wapi. Ni kweli kama mimi nilipewa milioni 372 na ilikuwa nijenge ofisi ya serikali ya CDF, nijenge zile vitu zote, nitafute gari. Ni kama vile umepewa plot mpya, haina fence, haina maji, uanze kujenga. Na hapo ndio nilianzia. Na tofauti na yule mtu amepewa mara 2, Na yeye alikuta kila kitu iko mpaka kiti ni irudishwa nyuma aketi aanze aendelee na kazi. Sasa tuanzie hapo. Hapo ndio nataka watu wa Gilgil kwanza tuangalie mahali tumetoka. Mahali tumekuwa. Ndio sasa tuangalie mbele, tujue ni nani kabisa. Tunaweza pea mali yetu atuchungie kwa mambo ya maendeleo. Kwanza uliniuliza
waambie watu wa Gilgil.
Niambie watu wa Gilgil. Mimi kuna kakadi nimekuwa nikipea watu. Na niko na moja yake hapa. Na hii card hapo nyuma kuna mambo ambayo tumeandika.
Okay.
Si mengi. Kwa mfano tumesema kwa elimu hatujamaliza kila kitu. Tunajua watoto wetu bado hawajapata ile environment, ile mahali ambapo panafaa kuendelea na masomo yao. Kuhakikisha tumepata all the schools are equipped.
Yes.
Na tumejenga sasa sasa nafikiri tunatakiwa tuwe tunamalizia. Mambo ya kusema shule haijafika na pale panahitaji kama vile tumesema Kikopee. Tunajenga mpya.
Okay.
Kwa maji tumesema haitoshi tu kwenda kuchimba maji na kuwalk na just drilling water and walking away ama kuchimba dam. Hakuna any other development. Tukichimba maji tunataka kuhakikisha hiyo maji imefika na sasa haya ni mambo yale sisi sasa tunaenda kufanya.
Okay.
Tunataka kuhakikisha kuna mfereji katika there is a tap in every home. Kuna mfereji katika kila nyumba. Sio tunachimba borehole tunatembea tumepea watu maji. Kuna barabara. Kuna kazi ambayo huwa ni ya kumaintain hizi barabara za kawaida. Na ninakumbuka kwa mfano kuna kama hii barabara ya hapa kutoka Kikopee kwenda Deramea mpaka Mutaita. Kuna wakati nilipitia hapo nikashindwa wale wananchi wanafanyia biashara hapo.
Hata wengi wao sasa wamefunga.
Mpaka nikaonea huruma.
Yeah, because vumbi ni nyingi sana.
Shida ilikuwa wale ma-engineers wanatakiwa waangalie ile materials inatumika. Sababu hata sisi tulikuwa tunamwaga hiyo barabara mara. Na sidhani kuna wakati mliwahi pata hivyo.
Yeah.
Kwa hivyo hizo barabara tunahakikisha kupitia kera zinatengenezwa. Lakini kile ningetaka kuambia watu wa Gilgil. Wakati nilikuwa kwa ofisi, sisi tulijenga kilomita 30 za lami. Tulijenga kutoka Marura kupitia Great Rift Valley mpaka Kasarani kilomita 18. Tukajenga barabara kutoka Mutaita kuelekea Maunaro yetu imefika Kianjoya kilomita 12. Na hiyo barabara badala ya kuanza upande ule wa Njoro tulianza upande wetu. Kwa hivyo watu wetu ndio walitumia hiyo barabara miaka 5 baadaye ama zaidi haijawahi tengenezwa. Kile ninataka kuhakikishia watu wa Gilgil. Nitahakikisha na nitajaribu sana. Kila mwaka tunajenga kilomita 10 za lami hapa Gilgil. Moja ya hizo tunajua obviously ni kutoka Gilgil kushikanisha ile barabara ya Gitare na pale Kanyiriri. Tunajua sisi tuna utaratibu na tulikuwa tumeifikisha mahali hata ikawa allocated pesa. Lakini wakati yule aliingia ni yeye tu anaweza kutuelezea ni nini kilifanyika kwa sababu yeye alisema nikikanyanga sitakuja kuomba kura nikikanyanga mchanga hapa. Sasa sijui atakanyanga wapi. Lakini ukweli ni kwamba barabara tutatunza. Na hii barabara ya Kikopee kwenda Mutaita hata kama inapitia huko kwa Daramea, it's a very important link. Na biashara ya marori kutoka ngambo ile ya Maunaro na inaweza ongezea biashara Kikopee kwa wingi kama ingetengenezwa iwe barabara nzuri. Kuna mambo mengine kama ya uwezo ambayo tungetaka kutumia sana. Tulikaa na vijana katika hiyo pesa ya uwezo. The first rating ile ilifanywa tuliweza kuwa namba 19 kati ya constituency 290. Walikuwa wanachukua pesa, tuna disburse pesa sana na wanalipa.
Okay.
Hii ni pesa ambao vijana hawajatumia sawa sawa. Na tungetaka tukae na vijana ili tuhakikishe wameweza kuanzisha biashara zao. Na talking of ranking, yani kuongea juu ya kuweka constituency. Na hapa ningetaka watu wa Gilgil wasikize. Mimi baada ya miaka 3 kwa ofisi, Ipsos Innovate wanafanyanga hiyo rating after every 3 years mbunge akiingia. Mimi wakati nilikuwa rated, I was ranked 86. I mean 81, sorry, 81. When my successor was rated 3 years in office, she was 115 lower, 196. From 81 to 196. I would wish people, and this is information, hii ni mambo ambayo iko kwa, that's 115 steps backwards.
Yeah.
So somebody who can tell you at Gilgil tumeenda mbele, the other parameters hajui. Kwa hivyo na mambo ya youth employment, including online, tulijenga an ICT center. Ile tulikuwa tunataka vijana wanakuja kule, tunawawekea wifi very powerful, ile mpaka watu wa soko wangekuwa wanafanya biashara bila kulipa. I only call it a dream deferred because I'm sure in 3 months we'll be back to implement. Vile vijana watakuja waketi huko, tujenge canteen, wanakuja wanafanya kazi yao hata usiku online, sababu we want them to enjoy online. Na saa zingine kununua bundles inakuwa ni shida. So we were ready for that, and we had done an ICT center which we don't know what has been happening to it. The greatest project tuliona walibadilisha jina, we don't care about that. But it's the dream yani ndoto bado iko haijakufa, bado tutaiendeleza. So sidhani Gilgil tumeendelea mbele. Kama kuenda 115 steps backward ndio kuendelea mbele, then I need somebody to take me to school. So there are those things ambapo tumeandika in education, na nimesema the journey we will walk together. Sababu siwezi peke yangu.
Ni kweli.
Kwa vijana, nimesema tuko na kazi. During our term, we had something like cohorts. Wakati tulikuwa na project ya NYS, when they were doing the environmental work in town, I made sure it was spread in the whole constituency. Hakuna mtu hakupata. In my office, I employed 14, and my successor is getting like double the amount. Yet, with our best judgment, he's employed only 5, and we don't see the educated youth. I believe we have so many graduates around here. And that one, we'll talk about it maybe in another forum when I have the figures, because I have the figures with me.
Okay.
So because, first of all, the reason why I'm looking back at where I came from is so that people can judge, and then where we are and where we need to go.
Yeah.
I think I took advantage of that when you asked me about ninasimama kiti gani.
Yes.
Ninasimama kiti cha ubunge wa Gilgil constituency. You know, I'm the one who started the constituency. For only 4 years, 2013, 2017 is only 4 years. And there is nothing much. Hakuna kitu unaweza pika kisiasa miaka 4 upange na implement. So even what we did was firefighting because of how we found the constituency. But only when we were getting set, I wish we have had the 18 million. Gilgil would be many miles. Tungekuwa tumeenda mbali sana. Sasa nasimama na chama gani?
Yes.
Mimi nasimama na chama cha Jubilee.
Okay.
Mbele pamoja.
Mbele tu pamoja.
Mbele pamoja. Umeona logo imebadilika. Hii ni ile ilikuwa ya TNA. Sasa naweza sema tumerudi nyumbani.
Mko nyumbani.
Sasa tuko nyumbani. Kila chama kina wenyewe.
Okay. Nimesahau kuambia watu wa Gilgil wakupatie kura.
Watu wa Gilgil nataka kuwaomba, nikiwa nimenyenyekea sana. Najua wengi wenu tumekutana huku na kule. Na nataka kuambia ningetaka kuwakilisha katika bunge, kwa sababu mimi najua niko na uwezo, na niko na nyinyi kwa roho, na kama nilivyosema wakati nilipoanza, kila kitu changu kiko hapa Gilgil. Kukiungua tutaungua pamoja, kukinyesha kuwe na mafuriko tutafunikwa pamoja. Na nimesema hata tangu nitoke ofisi miaka 5 iliyopita, mimi sikuenda biashara Nairobi kwa sababu nyumbani ni hapa. Kidogo na kikubwa, ninaamini natakiwa tusaidiane kama watu wa Gilgil. Kwa hivyo kwa mara nyingine tena nawaomba mnipe kura. Kwa sasa hatuongei sana juu ya chama. Mimi kila wakati naambia watu nilisimama na chama cha TNA na nikawa kwa ofisi kwa miaka 4. Nataka kuambia hakuna wakati mtu alikuja kwa hiyo ofisi akaniuliza TNA iko wapi nisaidie. Ama yule ambaye amesimama hako na Jubilee, kama angekuwa hapa angetuambia hakuna mtu alikuja kwa ofisi akauliza Jubilee iko wapi. Tunaulizanga mtu yule tulichagua. Na kama mtakubaliana na mimi, tumeanza kusikia vyama vikivuma wakati huu tumekaribia uchaguzi. Baada ya uchaguzi nafikiri tutaongea vyama tena miaka 5 baadaye. Kwa hivyo mimi naweza sema ni makosa, na mimi nimekuwa pia katika hiyo ya kuweka chama juu kuliko yule mtu tunachagua. Na najua tumechaguana 2017, tumechaguana 2013 na hata huko nyuma. Na hakuna wakati chama kilikuja. Sasa kile ningesema, chama ni basi ambayo ama matatu tutatumia kuruka upande ule mwingine. Na matatu ikikuweka inaenda. Labda hata ukirudi si hiyo utarudi nayo. Na tunajua hata wale walikuwa Jubilee wengi wao sasa labda hata hawako Jubilee. Kwa hivyo mimi naomba kiti kama mheshimiwa Mathenge, na chama ndio lazima tutumie hii basi inaitwa Jubilee, na nafikiri naweza kufikisha hapo. Nikijua tukifika tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8, na najua watapata nafasi nyingine kama mambo ambavyo yanavyoendelea, na nitafurahi nikipata nafasi hiyo. Nawashukuru kwa kunipa nafasi hiyo. And we thank you, and it's we would like to build you.
Okay, thank you so much.
We are proud building our own.
Thank you so much. Kwa kifupi sana, hebu tuambie who qualifies for bursaries, because people are complaining bursaries ziko but kuna wenye wameapply for 4 years, mtoto aliingia form 1 amaliza form 4 but hawajaipata.
Bursaries, we had our own way of distribution. And I would like to say that the current office, I may not talk so much on their behalf, but I had an opportunity to interact with some principals, and especially one from a big school that has 1,000+ students. After 4 years, the same years we served, they had received 600 and something thousands in terms of bursary. In the same 4 years, we had given 1.102 in terms of bursary. So I'm not sure how they have been managing their bursaries, but I know per year they have up to 40 million in terms of bursary. For our case, I remember the highest we had was like 25 million. So, I may not talk on now. If somebody was complaining about when I was in office, I am not sure. But we had a very elaborate way of bursaries where we involved the principals, the committees, and we covered as many as possible. I'm not sure how it is now, but I have told you a case of a school that in 4 years had only received about 600,000, and in the same period during our time they had received 1.12 million.
Okay. Kuna pesa za wazee wenye wako above 70. Hizo pesa kuna wakati waliambiwa wengine wamekufa, wengine wameturn 70 na wakaenda wakajiandikisha tena. But so far hawapati hizo pesa. What happened? Maybe unaweza tuambia.
I'm surprised because I think twice a year we would go and tulikuwa tunaenda na tunawasajili hao. we would go to Kiptangwanyi. And Kiptangwanyi reminds me, on one occasion when we were doing the exercise, the current MP for Gilgil was then a senator. And he brought a Senate committee, and one of the things they were complaining about, ni vile tulikuwa tunasajili hao wazee. I'm surprised 5 years, nearly 5 years. I may be wrong, but I haven't had even one mzee ambaye amesajiliwa katika hiyo program. And we have had it in other constituencies. So just like anybody else, I want to ask hiyo pesa kwani Gilgil stop kuwa a recruiting unit because they were based on sub-counties or districts for that matter.
Cause I guess kila siku kuna mtu ana turn 70. Kama shosha yangu ananipigianga kila siku. Shashia koronesha umire, sijui nimwambie nini, anashinanga kwa bank, kwa agents, kutaka kujua pesa ilienda aje.
What we do, I think there should be a clear law.
Okay.
But now you know there is vetting. For example, there are those who would say, mama wa mheshimiwa hatakiwi apate. You see, but now there should be a law. If they are ready to give,
they give you
then
money.
When you clock 70,
unapata hiyo pesa.
Unapata pesa hii. Yeah, that road needs to be. You know, now it's like a government, just like they are saying, we'll give you 6,000. Nobody is asking how. How will you get the 6,000? So it needs to be clear.
Yeah. For those 4 years and a half zenye hujakuwa kwa government, maybe hujakuwa kwa bunge, ni nini unaona ungefanya different ama ni nini ungefanya better yenye imefanywa na mwenye yako sai?
You see, as I have said, I have given some comparisons during my term and the term. Nobody is perfect.
Yes.
And even the president, sometimes I feel pained when people shout from top of their cars that he has done nothing. Nobody is perfect.
Yes.
And he has done something. But maybe not good enough for some people. Even me, I can't say I did my best. Because during the campaign, that's when things come out.
Yes.
We started and we had a program which people by and large approved. For example, when we talk about youth employment, and I don't want to be personal, but I don't think even the current MP's driver is from Gilgil. Leave around the CDF. CDF is Serikali.
Yeah.
You knew my driver, his home,
Yes.
my bodyguard, my all other employees. CDF projects, all projects, even the very small ones, are undertaken by contractors we don't know from where.
Yes.
During our time, the Gilgil transporters would be contracted. Local youth would be the watu wa mkono in those projects.
Yeah.
But now when you give a contractor from Nairobi, he will come with his people. Yes. When those people are paid and they are doing a project in Morindu, or if they are from Nakuru, when you pay them on Saturday, they will take their salary, board matatus, and take that money there.
Yeah.
It will not be useful to the people of Kikope.
Yes.
It will not have helped the youth of Kikope.
Yes.
And we always say, tuanze Jerusalem. Kabla hatujaenda kuhubiri watu. So if you can't start from your office or from what you have, so that's something we could do better and would have made it better, including the Kera roads, those that are done through Kera. That one, the MP has a say because it's your committee that sits in the Kera board. Yeah. So there are many things we would have perfected what we were doing. And with a lot of money, we would have done greater, because the hallmark of my performance was value for money. We were getting very good for value for little money, or for the money we had.
Okay. Sasa assuming today tumeambiwa tutangoja election mpaka August. kuna competition ya kuimba na mwenye ako na sauti mzuri ndiye anachukua hii kiti. Unaweza win.
Lucky for me, even I can tell you one thing. There is a place, B.M.C was there, the current MP, and then the teacher asked, 3 years into the office of the current MP, and then the teacher asked, mnajua mbunge wenu? Na pale shule, wewe tuambie. Aliamka akasema, Mathenge Derito. And the MP is seated there. I believe I'm still in people's hearts.
Yes.
It's not about, in fact, what you'd have said, the one with more lies.
We want the one who can sing. Do you think you can win? Mwenye anaweza imba.
Singing.
Singing, yes.
Unfortunately, of course, I sing a lot in
I
the church.
sing for us. Kakoras kamu.
The problem is you have read if you have read my voice go hoarse.
Kidogo tu. Kidogo tu. Kakoras kadogo tu. BMC tunapenda kuimbiwa.
Sasa ni tabibu wa karibu, tabibu wa ajabu, na rehema za daima ni dawa yake jema. Imbeni malaika sifa za Bwana Yesu, pweke limetukuka jina lake Yesu.
Umemba vizuri sana, uko sawa kabisa.
I can sing, but you have the voice has
the voice
gone a bit.
Ni baridi, tumekuwa tukiomba hii mvua, ni vizuri imenyesha Pasaka.
Hata see, this is a good omen.
Yes.
You can imagine the blessings are already there all the way to 9th of August 2020.
So make sure you come Nature Pebbles to have fun. Kuna sumo, kuna gym, wase wa gym, kuna spa. Elaborate, please.
Spa is somewhere where you can just relax, have a massage.
Wow.
Yes, especially for the ladies.
Okay, na nimeona kuna hadi manicure na pedicure. Wase wa kucha, sisi ni hizi za kawaida za kukula chipo. So if you love pia manicure and pedicure, tuseme umekuja huku ona after harusi inaitwaje? Tuseme umekuja huku honeymoon. My dear, huwezi toka huko umeparara, unasotiwa kila kitu vifiti. Okay, so guys, make sure first umesubscribe to our YouTube channel, umelike, umecomment na umeshare. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Na mkam Nature Pebbles for more fans. Pia kuna code bites. My dear, follow me tuendeshe hizo code bites.
Asked about sports.
Yes.
I told you my history even before I joined politics. And we were running very successful tournaments, and most of the players will remember that wachezaji kutoka Kiambogo walienda Kasarani, walienda Karati, walienda Karunga. Wachezaji kutoka Karunga walienda Baruk, wakaenda Mutaita, wakaenda Kiambogo. Those are the types of tournaments we used to run. And the whole constituency would make a single tournament. Secondly, even when I was out with my very little means, I sponsored the FK, all the teams that were in FKF, and I would sponsor and all pay for the referees' fees. So for all those games, and for a season it used to run to 80, 90, 100,000, and I was sponsoring that. So I didn't run away from sports that I have. I didn't win the seat. I used to run sports long before I came into parliament or into politics, and even when out in my very small way, Gilgil FKF teams know I have stood with them.
Ebu tell our youths wetu words mbili tatu za maybe ku encourage, because mostly kama kuna mmoja nilipatana naye akisema mimi niko na degree, siwezi hustle, siwezi fanya kazi hii ya reja. Maybe you can talk to them.
What I can tell our youth is that they should never give up. That's one. Secondly, don't wait. Go out there. I know I was giving an example of Toto, who was elected as woman rep in Bomet. She didn't just sit back and say, Mimi, nataka nipewe. You have to go out there. Because even most of the youth entrepreneurs that we are there are those who refuse to sit. Hata hiyo kukoroga kokoto, enda koroga. Utapata pesa ya fare ya kwenda kutafuta kazi ile unataka. But if you sit there, you will not even be able to get out of Gilgil. And we talk of hustle. Hustle in our own meaning is making sure you don't sit. You don't hustle when you are seated like this and waiting for things to happen. It's you going out. So, because I know there are a number of them, although I made a disclaimer that when I go to the dictionary, I don't like the word hustler. But in our context, hustling means getting out and going out there to fight it out for yourself. And I even tell youth, even as they graduate, we know it's the responsibility of the government to provide jobs. But I tell them, it would be very good if you become the job creator rather than the job seeker. And we would, and that's why I said, you don't have to start with 100,000. Maybe all you need is 20,000. And you are good to go. And because now we have so many, you know, in our time, when you are a graduate, you sat or you just wrote letters and you would get like 5 offers. So you would choose. But today we are no longer there. The pace at which the government can create employment has been overtaken by the output of our graduates. So it's all about money. And you know, there is that saying of A's are employed by C's and D's. So be careful. Be careful. Be the employer. And I would be more than willing to engage. In terms of ideas, in terms of resources, especially while in office, and I can tell you, because I have said we learned a few things, I would be ready to spend my time to go and sit with the youth, so that I would even first invest in my 100,000 in them, not for free, and then I go and sit in their group and even become a member. So that if I see them going the wrong way,
you correct them,
kama tunaungua pamoja. Otherwise, as I have told you, I'm a father of youth, and we all have challenges. Even me, sometimes getting jobs, even for my daughters, is a problem. So I know how disappointing it is, but they should be less assured in their baba wa Gilgil. Ni baba wao. Asante.
Kuna swali nilitumwa nikuuliza nikisahau ni makosa. Ken hatumambo anataka kupanua highway na Kikope tunakuanga mostly tunategemea watu. So meaning so many jobs zitafungwa.
One thing I would want to tell you, unlike during the time when this road was being done, it's going to be a dual carriage. Dual carriage doesn't mean removing the one that is there. So for one, the traffic will still be flowing, unlike that other time when it was completely diverted. So I think, I know we haven't been, and this is a problem, especially with our chiefs and the local politicians. When things like roads, when we have public participation for things like roads, and we have a world of experience of people like us who are in the engineering, the training, it would have been very good to get to tap from us, because we can tell the planners, if we see like at one time they will divert the road, we can tell them no. The road has to keep flowing. Even now, assuming it will be done when I'm in, it doesn't matter what they had planned, but they cannot stop, they cannot divert the traffic from our towns like they did last time. It was almost inevitable, because it was just the one-way traffic. So the two-way traffic. The other thing I would like to say about this road, we would like to see it benefit our area in terms of employment, in terms of social corporate programs, in terms of our business people, so that they can get to supply some of the things that will be required. And again, there is something I have been saying about Group A104. This road coming through Gilford, you see the type of drainage we have gotten, it has even made businesses for some people difficult, because it has cut them off. We would wish a Naivasha type of drainage where you even don't know where the water passes. So, and that's why I was saying Route A104 that passes through Gilgil town, it must be included in the construction of when we are doing this highway. And I would like to thank the government and wish that the project starts before August. We're really looking forward to it, because it's going to really benefit our area. So thank you very much.
You're so much welcome,
and
we are so happy to have you here. Now talk to your competitors. Huwezi kosa word moja ama mbili.
No, what I would wish to tell them is we congratulate those who passed in the UDA nominations. For us, we were not aligned to any. We know there were two, and we are not sure. We hear there are some petitions, but for us, or for me, I'm just waiting. Kuambia tu come baby come, yule munaona ndiye anafaa. Of course, I know when they know it's Mathenge, they are meeting in August. They are definitely having sleepless nights. And I'm sure come that time, the people of Gilgil will decide. And I'm sure who the decision is going to be.
Sasa, before tufunge, ningetaka uambie watu wa BMC wenye wanaona na hawaja subscribe, subscribe.
The reason why I came for this interview is I subscribed, and every time I go to YouTube, BSM pops up.
BMC.
We would wish that you also do the same, so that when we join them, very soon they are going to be a big force, and they will give most of us such platforms. So do what is necessary.
Don't forget to subscribe. Let me wrap up this video. Toros.